Hello, my friends. There's news to tell about this week. The offensive in Gaza is indeed escalating. The military wing of Hamas claimed responsibility for sending a number of drones into Israel, describing the event on its website as one of the surprises it had promised over the last week. Israel's military intercepted one of those drones on Monday, July 14th, and blew it to smithereens. The Israeli military launched what looks to be a long-term offensive against the Hamas-ruled Gaza Strip on Tuesday morning, July 8th, striking nearly 100 sites in Gaza and mobilizing troops for a ground invasion aimed at stopping a heavy barrage of rocket attacks against Israel. Operation Protective Edge. This aims to strike the Islamic Hamas group and end the rocket fire that has reached deeper into Israel and has intensified. These attacks are due to tensions which have soared over the killing of the 3 Israeli teenagers and the apparent revenge killing of a Palestinian teenager by 3 Jewish suspects. After a brief early morning lull, Hamas rocket fire from inside Gaza residential neighborhoods resumed on Tuesday, more than 15 rockets fired toward southern Israel. Saturday, July 12th, was the bloodiest day since the conflict erupted 4 days earlier. For the first time, Israeli ground troops entered Gaza, and Israel's aerial campaign began early that day, the largest and the deadliest since 2012. Both sides have dismissed calls for a truce, and Israel continues to build up troops along the Gaza border. A military spokesman said attacks on Hamas in Gaza will certainly increase, and last Tuesday, the Israeli government gave the okay to mobilize 40,000 additional reservists to step up its offensive in the Gaza Strip. Hamas has amassed about 10,000 rockets, including longer-range rockets that can reach up to Tel Aviv and beyond. Not a good thing to think about. Hamas fired more than 150 rockets on Israel overnight. 30 of them, the most lethal, were intercepted by Israel's missile defense shield called Iron Dome. But 117 of those rockets landed. Hamas unleashed a barrage of rocket fire after issuing a rare warning that it planned to fire at the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. 3 rockets apparently targeting Jerusalem fell short, hitting Hebron and Bethlehem. Of 4 fired at Tel Aviv, 3 were intercepted above the city, and another hit open ground south of it. Well over 500 projectiles have struck Israel during the conflict. Approximately 4 million people, more than half of Israel's population, are spending their days in bomb shelters. And on Sunday, July 13th, thousands of Palestinians left their homes in Gaza after Israel warned them to leave ahead of threatened attacks on rocket-launching sites. We've seen many such actions going on between Hamas and Israel in the past, my friends. But don't let yourself be fooled by thinking the past equals the present. This is not yesterday. This is today. And this is not the same as past occurrences. Note, there is an iPhone and iPad app you can download from the Apple Store. It's called Red Alert Israel, which provides real-time alerts every time a terrorist fires rockets, mortars, or missiles into the state of Israel. If you obtain one, it beeps every time a rocket is fired or something similar, and it will give you an awareness, somewhat, of what residents in Israel are going through. On the American front, disorder at the border is escalating. Last Tuesday, President Obama asked Congress for nearly $4 billion to aid minors from Central America who are illegally crossing the U.S.-Mexican border. Further, he has declared comprehensive immigration legislation dead in Congress and has announced plans to proceed on his own by executive action to make whatever fixes he can to the nation's immigration system. This is causing a lot of stir on both sides of the fence in Washington. Despite Texas Governor Rick Perry's urgings, Obama refuses to visit the border for a first-hand look. Yet, he is taking the time to conduct a political fundraising event in Texas on Wednesday with a pro-illegal immigration film director at his side. Rush Limbaugh had a caller from Southern California on his radio show Tuesday last week. She explained that she and her husband, being active Catholics in their community, were asked by their parish priest, who was ordered by his bishop, to house illegal immigrant children being bused into their town. They were told the church would reimburse them for any out-of-pocket expenses and were further instructed to not talk with anyone about this, especially not the media. Her husband, a retired doctor, said, quote, "Doctors are being asked not to talk to the media. They're on gag orders, both doctors and nurses, and we've got a big problem because there are a lot of diseases that can come through this border, bringing all kinds of stuff. The lice won't kill you, but Ebola will, and so will gonorrhea, and there's syphilis and AIDS and hepatitis and diphtheria and polio, meningitis, and this new coronavirus coming in from the Middle East," close quote. On July 7th, Mexico and Guatemala have made an agreement that makes it easier and safer for Central Americans, including unaccompanied minors, to enter the United States illegally. Note, unaccompanied minors are not deported, but kept here in America. In 2012, officers took just over 10,000 unaccompanied minors. In 2013, they took just over 20,000. And between last October and this June, less than 9 months, they took almost 40,000. Flash. On Monday, July 14th, several illegal alien children washed up dead on the banks of the Rio Grande River near El Paso, Texas. There have been no reports by the Obama administration on this, which indicates a pattern of covering up dead illegal alien children by the Obama administration. On the Islamic Front, the IS, the Islamic State, is growing. Wars and rumors of wars are escalating. 1 week after radical Islamists in Iraq declared a caliphate spanning the Iraqi-Syria border, Al-Qaeda's affiliate in Syria, Jabhat al-Nusra, said it is setting up an emirate in besieged rebel-held parts of Aleppo, the largest city in Syria. An Islamic emirate aims at the implementation of Sharia law. This would represent the birth of the first Islamic emirate, which will be replicated in other areas. It's reported that Obama supposedly found out about the Al-Qaeda branch, now known as the Islamic State, IS, marching towards Baghdad by watching the news. A 40,000-man army of black-garbed murderers waving the Al-Qaeda flag and AK-47 assault rifles all across the desert sands of the Middle East simply escaped Obama's attention, right? I'm sorry. Question. Where did the IS obtain tens of thousands of AK-47s along with a large supply of shoulder-fired heat-seeking missiles? Answer. According to Kenneth R. Timmerman's book, Dark Forces, the IS obtained them from the Obama administration. John Brennan, head of the CIA and Obama's sidekick, has been amply supplying jihadist groups with weapons for years. It is also reported that Obama is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, whose primary focus is to create a worldwide caliphate, and thus his reason for arming the Islamic State. It seems quite likely, my friends, that Obama is a member of the Brotherhood because he backed Muslim Brotherhood member Mohammed Morsi in Egypt, and also because he has 6 Muslim Brotherhood members in his White House administration, including the head of the Department of Homeland Security Council, Mohammed El-Biari, who openly supports the current caliphate efforts of the IS. Note, the Muslim Brotherhood's founding documents call for the destruction of the United States. Quote, the Muslim Brotherhood must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging its miserable house. Close quote. Is it just another conspiracy theory that Obama is committed to putting America under the control of a worldwide Islamic caliphate? Maybe so, and maybe not. That's the news for this week, my friends. Be safe. I'll see you next time. Shalom. Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath the naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me.